This video I want to talk about marketing and what I've learned about marketing over the last This video I want to talk about marketing and what I've learned about marketing over the last 30 or 40 years. I only discovered recently what Steve Jobs actually meant when he described his idea of marketing. 44 years. I went to UCD in 1980. I did a BCom degree. I was 17. I graduated when I was 20. When I was 20, I could have ran Coca-Cola or some multinational company. From a marketing perspective, I would have had some theoretical grounding at least. However, 3 years later, at the age of 23, I was self-employed with a small business, a small shop at Hart's Corner in Glasnevin in Dublin, 450 square feet. We did, myself and the brother, started that business. I was 23, he was 26, and we did quite well out of it. But from that time, when I firstly went to UCD in 1980 and then started my own business in 1986, from that time up to maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago, I had an idea about marketing which was very much based on what I'd learned in college, what I'd learned from lecturers and what I'd learned from the marketing books and so on. But then about 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago perhaps, I heard Steve Jobs being asked about marketing. And Jobs said that marketing was about values. He said in a difficult world, in a complex world, in a world that's changing very, very quickly, people don't have that much time to remember you or remember your products. And therefore, in order to ensure that you're memorable, that you can differentiate yourself, from your competitors, from people in the same industry, or indeed people in businesses in different industries. What your values are, what you stand for, is critical. And I've only discovered this relatively recently, what he actually meant. And the key here, the advice here for any young person starting a business is to take the lessons that I've learned about marketing in the last 2 or 3 years. And I actually discovered it, funnily enough, on TikTok. The penny dropped for me on TikTok. So what I mean is, I understood conceptually what Jobs was on about when he said marketing is about values, but I wasn't sure about how to put it into action in my business on a day-to-day basis. And then I discovered TikTok, and I discovered doing reply videos, amongst other things. But reply videos on TikTok are where you make a video in reply to somebody's comment. And in doing that, I found myself, quite by accident, not intentionally, but by accident, responding to people's videos and actually spelling out what it was I stood for. Basically, what my values were. And then the penny dropped for me, because then what Jobs had said 10 years ago about marketing is all about values, the penny dropped for me then. Because every time I did a reply video on TikTok, I was given the opportunity to say what I stood for, and more importantly, what I stood against. And that's vital, because if you stand for everybody, with everything, then you stand for nothing. Whereas if you actually stand for something and make it clear what you stand against, then you're going to alienate a certain number of people, but you're also going to generate a serious following, loyal following, people who relate to you because you speak for them to a certain extent, or at the very, very least, you have the same values as them. At the very least, you actually stand for or have the same values as them. So when somebody then comes to picking, say, an accountant, or a physiotherapist, or a solicitor, or a psychologist, or whatever, all of us, most professionals in a particular industry, accounting say, law say, solicitors, we all provide the same services. We all provide pretty much the same services, and it's very, very difficult for an ordinary person to actually ascertain the competence of any individual accountant or solicitor over another. We all appear to be the same. We all appear to offer the same services. So how do you differentiate? How does anybody pick me over pick somebody else? The values, what I stand for, my values. I make it easier. And that's what I've discovered about marketing. That's when the penny dropped with me in relation to what Jobs had said. I knew, I understood conceptually what he was saying, but I wasn't able to put it into practice on a daily basis. I didn't understand until, as I say, I started out of sheer frustration doing reply videos on TikTok and saying, no, that's not right. This is the situation. We need to be more, tolerant. We need to afford people dignity. We need to afford people respect. We need to respect people that are different from us. We need to respect people that are different from being white and male, for example. We need to respect people from other countries, different skin color, different religion, different gender, different sexual orientation, different family values, different religion or none. And those are values, and those are the things that you can actually stand for or do stand for. But those are the things also that you can actually differentiate yourself from another solicitor or another accountant or another expert. Now, you can do the same in manufacturing, in retail or whatever, but I hope you get the point that I'm making, that I, as I say, studied marketing 44 years ago in UCD. I was 17 years of age when I started the degree, and I graduated at 20. I was self-employed at 23, and I understood theoretically about marketing, about economics, about behavioural science, about accounting, and about certain aspects of law. But in practice, I didn't understand what marketing was until the penny dropped in relation to what Jobs had to say. Marketing is about values, and it's about connection. with connection is easy, and connection follows if you have values and you can let people know what your values are, because those people with the same values, people like us, do things like this. That's the culture. Those people, they will support you. So if you're a young person, and even if you're not a young person, if you're going to start a business or are in business and you're wondering about marketing, etc., that's something that I've learned over the years. As I say, it took a long while. Maybe I'm a slow learner, but I've learned it now, and now, you know, it's easy for people to pick me. It's easy for people to not pick me as well, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you stand for everything and everybody, you stand for nothing. So, you know, you do need to put a flag in the ground and say, I stand for this. I don't have a problem with X, Y, or Z, or I do have a problem with X, Y, or Z. I don't think international protection seekers, asylum seekers, should be treated like this, or I think they shouldn't be housed here at all, or whatever. But whatever you stand for, whatever your values are, those are the things which allow you as a professional or as a business person to differentiate you, your company, your products from others. Hope you find the video useful. That's what I've learned anyway from about marketing over the last, as I say, 44 years. And I wish you well in 2025 if you're starting a business or have a business or you're thinking about starting it and you're wondering what the crack is.